This is a public hearing to discuss the proposed wind law, which is proposed law number 2 of 2018, titled Wind Energy Facilities. Note that we will give you each 3 minutes to speak. We'll ask you to step forward, address the board only, state your name and your address. This is not going to be a question and answer period from the board. This is for the board to listen to your concerns. So in addition to advertising it in the newspaper, copies were hand-delivered, correct, to Town of Parrishville, Town of Lawrence, and Town of Stockholm. So they were aware of this. And also the environmental form, the seeker, has been forwarded to DEC and has been posted on the town website. We also have just been handed some correspondence. First one from Young and Summer, dated March 28th. This will be reviewed by the board later, and if anyone likes a copy, they can approach the town clerk, and she will make a copy during her office hours. We will look into the possibility of placing them on the website. Also received something from Frank Povenzano, same thing. Also tonight, between this afternoon and tonight, I received 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 emails, 9 against the project and 1 recommending it. Those will also be available. Also was handed 2, 3, 4 sheets of paper from concerned residents that request that they are in support of passing the proposed wind law as written. And that. There's a bunch more. Yeah. So with that, we will start. Steve is going to be our timekeeper. So we will start the meeting. Yes, sir. Step forward.
Where do you want?
Right up here in front of us. Right there.
Go for it, Mike.
That's good.
I'll go up this way.
You're going to look right at us.
If you need me to talk louder, I'll do my best. All right, my name's Mike Forney. I'm from Malone. I'm the founder, if anybody's heard the group called FARM, F-A-R-M, stands for Friends Against Rural Mismanagement. If I run out of time, maybe you can donate me a minute. We're throughout the entire North Country. There's people in almost every little town now that are becoming members. If you need more information on that, just go to FARM 12953, FARM and Malone zip code. All right, back when Cuomo was still the Attorney General, there was a lot of windmills going up east of Malone. And through the course of all that, and we knew sooner or later it was going to hit Malone, that's when I got active in this and I started looking into things. I'm not going to give you my opinion pro or for this, but I want everyone, especially this board, to be aware of pitfalls, because once it's too late, those are famous last words. I exposed 2 towns for conflicts of interest. Based on that, eventually, the Attorney General Cuomo at the time formed a commission. One of the commissioners, or one of the members, was Derek Champagne, District Attorney in Malone. He was part of that. Based on conflicts of interest. The final one, I won't get into a lot of the detail, but one board member, I believe the wind company sold his wife a piece of land. She signed a contract. Another board member had a son-in-law and a daughter on his land that he, quote, gave them, they signed a contract. There was a moratorium going on. Their family members already signed a contract. Then there's a moratorium. It's pretty reasonable to see right off the bat as a conflict of interest. If they vote, why are they going to vote no? They've already signed contracts, a wife and family. One of the laws now is a tuxedo doctrine. I don't know if that's related to my stuff or not. I know that commission was. But just so I can read this briefly in the record. Ethics laws are both a sword and a shield designed to protect the public from municipal contracts influenced by avaricious officers and to protect innocent public officers from unwarranted assaults on integrity. The tuxedo doctrine talks, it's not about a conflict of interest. Even the appearance of a conflict of interest, you can't participate as a public officer. An appearance of impropriety results when an officer's personal situation may affect the public's perception of his or her ability to act impartially in the best interest of the taxpayer in a whole. Government officials must maintain public conflict in the integrity of government. They must avoid even the appearance of impropriety. And another quote taken out of that law. The test to be applied is not whether there's a conflict, but whether there might be. It is the policy of the law to keep the official so far from temptation as to ensure his unselfish devotion to the public interest. So it's not to do if there's a conflict. We're not impugning anyone's integrity, but if there's even a possible appearance, you have to act.
Sorry, that's 3 minutes.
Can you tell me? Someone give me a minute.
No, we can't allow that.
Read down, they don't allow us minutes.
Well, sorry for wasting your time, folks.
Thank you so much.
But that says a mouthful if you listen to what I said.
Not
He
wasted
should be
time.
leaving the table.
Jody Severson, from 11 Hopkinton.
This is what I did.
As of today, a door-to-door outreach effort of Hopkinton residents has gathered over 190 signed postcards for the town board, expressing their support for the town board and abandonment to thoroughly explore all options before making any decisions that could limit the town and citizens' ability. Can you speak up? Okay. Ability to benefit from this project. They do not want you to pass this restrictive no project wind law. We request that the town board members recognize this growing voice of support. There's work to be done on the law and pilot negotiations. Please bring the parties to the table. If the town board proceeds with misinformation to pass this restrictive wind law, the project will not be built and the significant financial benefits will vanish. Thank you.
My name is Robert Bloom. I'm a resident and taxpayer in the town of Hopkinton. I live at 2666A State Highway 72. I would like to thank the town board, Sue Wood, Sue Lyon, Kelly Polano, for standing up for my safety and health, as well as for all the residents of the town of Hopkinton. Thank you for listening to the Wind Advisory Board's research and recommendations for a fair and safe wind law and a wind overlay that does not extend south of Route 72. Please do not be swayed from the decision you made 2 weeks ago by promises that are being circulated by, I don't know what they call themselves, Iberdrola, Avangrid, Atlantic Wind, one of those three, to pay people's electric bills. They are not signed legal documents and can be dismissed at any time. This is my personal feelings. If someone came knocking on my door offering me monetary gain to buy my vote in their favor, I would be highly insulted. And to the point that they, even under their own code of conduct, Iberdrola, Avangrid, Northridge, whatever they are, went door to door with a town councilman to gain favor in the community. I would say they can't be trusted. Please protect our town and pass the wind law as it stands right now. Thank you.
Next.
May I say something, Sue?
Person in the back had their hand up first, Joe.
Sure. I gotta get way up again, right?
Step forward.
Frank Bones, This is a letter that I, as a participating landowner in the proposed Northridge Wind Farm, shared with the town board at the February 12th Hopkinton Town Board meeting. A CCRP representative publicly presented a document submitted titled Signed South 72 Petitions is listing 151 names and addresses of people who signed a petition opposing turbines south of 72. We understand that the CCRP did not present the signed petitions to the town board, nor were they requested. Supervisor Seward publicly acknowledged at March 12th town board meeting she assumed that the document was accurate. In addition, apparently no inquiries were made specific to the narrative message people were told for this petition. Without identifying supporting documents, CCRP representative also claimed at February 12th that 353 residents and property owners were opposed to North Ridge. Total, we believe, represents double counting across various petitions or postcard submittals. Our review of 159 names on opposition postcards posted to the DPS found that nearly 50% were listed on the signed south of 72 petitions. We suspect this to be the case of documentation submitted to the town board as well. Unacceptable. CCRP also submitted a document to the town board titled Moratorium Pilot Petition, listing 819 names of people from Hopkinton and neighboring communities against the pilot, for a moratorium or both. Again, CCRP has not produced supporting narrative, nor was the narrative signatures requested by the board. Of interest, we found that only 166 on the list were registered Hopkinton voters. Of further significance, neither choice should reflect opposition to the project. In fact, highlights the need for further discussion and negotiation between taxing jurisdictions and to address the final answer about pilot versus full evaluation. The town board has not been told by Sue Wood about her receipt of on the 26th of February, over 75 postcards from Hopkinton residents, now totaling over 190. Expressly supporting for the town and Evergreen thoroughly explore all options before making any decisions that can limit the town's ability to benefit from this project. Seward received these cards and conducted informed council members, Lyon, Parker, and Solshay. She stated she needed time to verify postcards as accurate before releasing them, but yet they were on Facebook an hour and 19 minutes before. Thank you.
Yes, Joe?
A little rough walking here, so that's all.
Okay, take your time.
My name is Joe Snell. I am a resident of neighboring town of Perryville. And I wasn't very fortunate in the past to represent the town of Perryville as a councilman and supervisor for 20 years. And I just want to say to the board that there's a reason why we call the board and all the officials public servants. And they are, you guys are all there to represent the majority of the town of, in my case, the town of Perrysville, but the town of Hopkinton. So just please remember that, you know. There were some cases that a couple of board members would have an opinion that was completely different than what the majority wanted. But you as a board, when the majority of the people in the town want something, you really have to listen. You know, I mean, that's your obligation, your job. That's why they call it a public servant. It may not be exactly what you want, but listen to the majority. Thank you.
In the back?
I would just like to say in regards to.
Name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Audrey Gilbert. I live in Maverick. My family are all residents here in Hopkinton. I don't currently live in Hopkinton, but this does still affect people who are in neighboring towns. It's always been my plan and hope to one day own a residence here in my hometown of Hopkinton. And this does definitely influence impacting surrounding communities, as we've seen out in Chattaday. Once they're into a place, they tend to want to expand. And I'm opposed to it, as well as my family that does live here. So I just wanted to state that point. All right, thank you.
Just as another side note, there's 30 signatures to support the proposed wind law as written. Over.
I'm Olga Triller. I live at 2396 State Highway 11B in Hopkinton. And I'm not going to go into what I did the last time. But I do want to know, is the company an American company?
No,
We
Spain.
can't, we're not
Huh?
answering, we're not answering any questions.
Okay, all I heard was that it was Spanish from Spain. Why are we having a Spanish company do this to us? We don't have enough Americans to build or whatever, but I still don't think that it is right for someone to come in to your backyard and say, this is what we're going to do. Whether you have 1 acre or whether you have 200 acres. That is not right. And if you have something to say about it, I think you should. And I've noticed that a lot of people have been suppressed about talking about it. Oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. But what happened to us was a few men came into our village and told us that this is what they were going to do, this is what they were going to do. And then hundreds of us from our village and our town and what is known now as Belarus were taken as slave labor. So there's people that are going to work here that are 20, 30, but at the end there's going to be 2. And even those are going to run when the Americans come. And I hope the Americans come soon. I don't want to live against another place where the lights are on all the time. And there's no food, because what they have done is given off to one group, and one group just gave you a loaf of bread and a stick of butter for a week for 5 people. Now what is going to happen here now? I don't want to have other people go through that. And half the things I know is because my mother told me. She was 27 years old with 3 children, myself, who I was only 1. And for 8 years I grew up in this kind of thing, that everything was done for people that just wanted something and not for the whole majority. Thank you.
Next. Janice?
A community is, by definition, a group of people living in fellowship, sharing a space as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals.
Janice, a little louder.
Okay, sorry. I would say we have come together as a community and found a common interest to protect our environment, families, and quality of life. We owe it to our children to continue to be motivated by this goal of bettering our piece of this planet, ensuring that they too experience quiet nights under starry skies without noise and blinking lights of giant machinery. Turning Hopkinton into an industrial wind facility is not being good stewards, nor is it to be seen as our contribution to the greater good. Sacrificing our local environment to these industrial turbines will not lessen our impact, nor will it help us fight climate change. It will, however, take us one huge step further away from the nature we're trying to protect and the vision we all hold of a better, cleaner world. One must remember this corporation is not consuming space with acts of altruism and benevolence. Corporations are profit-driven, and as such, we are a means to that end. This corporation needs us, our tax dollars and our land. We do not need them or their project. We need our nature, health, happiness, and strong community. The residents of Hopkinton have spoken. If this foreign corporation is able to force this
project on us, then at least we deserve to have proper setbacks and sound limits. According to scientific papers and testimonies from around the world, this wind law will not be protective enough for Hopkinton to escape having casualties. The setbacks are far too small and the sound limits not nearly protective enough, but it's better than the previous wind law. The Wind Advisory Board worked hard, and this law is the product of many hours of researching, listening, and deliberating. Some felt it was not restrictive enough, while one thought it was too strict. In the end, they compromised, realizing that the community is currently in need of protection from known effects of living among turbines. The right thing to do is pass this law, while continuing to make time and learn more about what other people are experiencing. It would be shameful to leave our town vulnerable to people who do not have our best interests in mind.
Back row? Yep.
Dean Lobster, 591 State Highway 11, Town Bus. A lot of money riding on this for a handful of people, right? Dean Lobster. It's well known with Iberdrola Aquagrid, there's phase one, there will most likely be a phase two expansion. And that could be very well into the realm of my property. I am opposed to the wind farm for many reasons. However, number one, as much as companies like Avangrid say wind turbines are sustainable, does not make it true, as they are in the business of making money, and their lies and underhanded ways prove this to be true. Recently, it has come to my attention Avangrid, whose parent company, an offshore corporation, has been busy bribing residents for their vote, utilizing a so-called electric bill offset program. Based on the fact that Iberdrola, again, an offshore corporation, is utilizing our scarce tax dollars, federal, state, and local, via a pilot to bribe Hopkinton residents. If this offshore corporation was not receiving our scarce tax dollars, you can bet they would not even be here, causing havoc and hatred in their wake. Thank you.